Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics. Welcome back to the YouTube channel tonight. Joining me is a very special guest to recap a remarkable season for our Harold Matthews under-17s team in the New South Wales Rugby League competition. It's the head coach of the Harold Matthews Cup team, TJ Ashford. It's great to have you on. It's an absolute pleasure to recap that amazing season that the boys had, because first year and it was an incredible run. But we'll get to that grand final real soon. But it's great to have you on, actually.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate all the support that you give the club, and it'll be good to chat some more footy.
Yeah, awesome. So we'll start off with we'll start off with you personally. For those of you that may not know who you are and your background, so just give a little bit of an insight as to how it came about, like the coaching, for you, like where did it all start off with, coaching in rugby league circles? Where did it start off for you?
Yeah, well, rugby league runs in the family, obviously, man. So
Yeah.
pretty much lived and breathed it all my life, and I started off playing footy at the Munedale Marlins. It's a club out in South Auckland, probably more famously known by the Bromwich boys, the same club as those boys, and I got an injury, a serious injury, quite earlier on in my career, and I pretty much was told to give it a bit of a rest, man. And I ended up getting into coaching at about the age of 18. So been coaching for about 18 years, I think it is now, man. So started as a player, but always thought I'd end up in the coaching ranks, obviously. But just obviously probably a little bit earlier than expected, obviously, in terms of that sort of stuff. But nah, look,
Yeah.
loved coaching, man. The highs and lows of it, such a good
Yep.
thrill, and coming from the neighbourhood that I came in, man, come from. It's a good place to be in. It gets you out of trouble a little bit and puts you in the right places. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what club did you coach before you came on board with the
I,
Harold Matthews team?
I was lucky enough to go back and coach my junior club at the
Yep.
premier level. So I finished off my club coaching career at Munedale Marlins. I spent maybe the 5 years before that at a club out east called Ellerslie Eagles. So I did a fair bit with the premier team out there for a little bit. So my day-to-day job is I'm head of pathways at the Auckland Rugby League. So a lot of my coaching and whatnot came through there as well. I got to do a fair bit of coaching with a lot of our rep sides through there, which has been good. And obviously with my job there, it allows me to identify talent not only in Auckland, but when we play some of the national teams around the country, allows me to have a look at talent there as well, man. So it's been a good ride coaching, man, so far.
Yeah, and actually to start off with the Warriors Harold Matthews Cup side, the under-17s, new team to the competition this year. How did the off season go for the team, like building that team? Because I heard talks that you guys were trying to build that team. It was taking a bit of time, but you guys how did that all come about? The Harold Matthews team.
Yeah, look, I'll have to put a lot of credit onto Sponge Tony Edel.
Yeah.
He's head of the junior pathway system. He works alongside Andrew McFadden, Cappy. So between those two boys, they've obviously put together a really good squad for us, and they've been doing work on it for a few years now, obviously. But once they got the license to get the Harold Matt side into the New South Wales Rugby League competition, they obviously, already had some of the boys in the development system as well throughout the 12 months before it. So it allowed them to obviously build that relationship with those boys. And, once they got the opportunity to put the squad together, they all gelled quite well, man. So it was a really good opportunity there for the boys.
Yeah, and with the building of the side in terms of players, you probably had to scout through a lot of areas of New Zealand as well. And did you go to Australia and scout some players over there as well, or just focus on the talent over in New Zealand? Well, how did that go?
No, I'm not. I wouldn't say we closed off any opportunities or avenues for players in Australia. There's a few
Yep.
boys that obviously currently live over there at the moment that
Yep.
wanted to come back and trial and had that opportunity as well. But yeah, being a Kiwi boy as well, like there's lots of talent here in New Zealand, whether it's playing rugby league or rugby union, and that's why Sponge did such a great job. It wasn't just rugby league teams he was looking at. We have scouts and people going around to watch all games of rugby league and rugby union in the country. So our job was to assemble the best possible kids in that age grade, and obviously we did a pretty decent job, or Sponge did a pretty decent job putting that squad together.
Yeah, and how were you approached, like as to coach this Harold Matthews team? Like, how did you? Were you excited with the opportunity, like to get to coach the Warriors in the Harold Matthews New South Wales Rugby League competition in Australia? How
Yeah,
was that?
100%, man. I still remember the day that they offered me the role, and I'd done a little bit of work with the Warriors and their pathway system the 12 months prior, and obviously, being in Auckland, and we're literally straight across the road from the Warriors building as well. And my day-to-day job is, I got to, coach against some of the Warrior junior development teams over the last couple of years, which is a great opportunity to showcase myself as a coach. And look, I still remember the day Cappy and Sponge had that conversation with me and offered me the role. As a very emotional evening for me and my family. And it's like players that want to be in the pathway or become an NRL player. I've always wanted to be an NRL coach, and so it was a very emotional time for me. But being the first ever of something is always good too. We had an opportunity this year to build the standards and the culture, or our identity as a Harold Mats team within the club, being the first ever one. So being a part of that was definitely special for me, and something that I'll cherish for a lifetime.
Yeah, well said there, and obviously we're going to the season because there's also a lot of hype around the club. We the NRL side, the first grade side, as well, who had a great year last year. But like, what were the expectations like in terms of as a coach? Because of these guys being so young, like they're young, really young players. What are you like? Did you have any expectation, or would you
I think a
call
lot
it
of
like?
I think a lot of the expectation and pressure were put on by ourselves, really, of the coaching stuff,
Yeah,
especially earlier on as well. Like I felt like we were trying to overcoach sometimes, and
mm,
just to try and get that first win of the season. But in terms of the club, like, had no pressure from them whatsoever, man. Like,
yeah,
they've
exactly.
been so supportive. Like, I can't thank Cameron George, Cappy, Sponge. I can't thank them enough for all the support that they've given me throughout the year. Even Webby, Slade Griffin's another one who's been really good for my development over the last 12 months. And they've been real supportive from day dot. Like, obviously in a competitive sport, you're vying to win that grand final. But from very early on, like, it was made clear to us that our job's not here to win championships. Our job's to
Yeah,
build and find the next NRL player for our club at the One New Zealand Warriors. And we feel like the structures that they've put in place at the club at the moment is a really good atmosphere and really good place to be for our young players coming through their NRL journey. So look, wasn't really much pressure on us, to be honest. They gave us all the tools that we required to do our job,
yeah.
and they gave us support, a lot of support around us as well throughout the whole campaign. So very grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, and the first game, just going through some of the results of the season. Obviously, that round
Yeah.
one game, going to that round one game, was the first game for the boys. And how were the nerves? Were there any nerves going into the that first
Oh,
game? Yeah,
yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have any nerves in that first one.
yeah, yeah.
But that's what I mean. I felt like especially me, I put a little bit of pressure on myself to get the result, and I probably took the focus away from coaching a little bit on those first couple of rounds, and I try to
Mm,
focus a little bit more around the result rather than the process. And but that first game, man, like, I think it was about 42 degrees. I think it was when the boys were
yeah,
playing. And like back home here in New Zealand, it doesn't, like, it's like 8 degrees over here at the moment. You know what I mean? So the boys just
yeah,
aren't used to that sort of atmosphere or that sort of intense heat. But
yep,
at the end of the day, we try and train and replicate those scenarios at training as best as we can. And yeah, look, to be honest, we weren't far off. Like Parramatta were the better side on the day. I'll give them that. I think it was 34-6, I think the score was. But
Yeah,
man, up until the 29th minute of the first half, it was 6-all. So like that, it just goes to show how close the game was, And there's a 10-minute period there. Obviously they scored late in that first half, right on the hooter at halftime or something, and then it was a 10-minute period after halftime that we let in 3 tries, and then by that time the game had already gone. Like it's at that level, at Harold Matts and SG Ball level, momentum's real hard to get. But it does swing in roundabouts. So we probably just didn't handle that occasion too well. But that's all
yeah,
part of the experience, Like some of these boys have never played at that level. All of our boys have never played at that level of footy before. So it just took us a couple of weeks to get our bearings a little bit and understand, how intense it is playing at that level. But obviously, the boys cotton on towards the back end of the season, which was great.
yeah. And obviously you lost that first game. Parramatta got a very strong junior talent, team there, and then you guys, I think you had the bye in round 2, then you lost to the Roosters there, 28-18. So it was a lot more closer, more competitive from that first game, and then you guys won your first game of the season in Sydney against the Rabbitohs, 22-17. I actually watched that game. I believe Bunny's TV YouTube channel. They were
Yes, yeah.
live showing it, and I actually watched that game. It was first game I watched with the Harold Matthews team, it was a. What do you remember that game? First win of the season. That the boys
Yeah,
were
well,
very happy with
we spoke about that as a coaching staff too. Like
that.
that was our last away game or last round robin away game for us, and we
Yeah,
spoke about during that week about going on a little bit of a run. Like if we can
mm,
just jag this one win away from home, we come home to 5 straight home games. So we started off really well. I think the first 10 minutes, I think we were up. I think 6-0 or something like that. Yeah, I think it was 6-0, and we lost our halfback after 10 minutes, which was a bit of a shame. And then I think, at half time we get down to 20 points to 6 at half time, And I just remember the conversation I had with the boys about, I just imagine this story, if we can swing this momentum in our favour and, get this win, imagine the run that we could go on and potentially give our team a chance to make in the semi-finals. And credit to the boys, it took a little bit longer than we wanted, but,
yeah,
they score on the last minute there. And, those moments are something that will, live in our memory bank for a lifetime, because, that was part of the journey to get to where we are at the moment. So it was a very special day, getting the club's first win as well against such a, historic NRL side in the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
yeah. And then you guys went on 3-game winning. You went on 3 straight wins there at home. You bet the the Balmain Tigers there, 16-4, and then you won against the Steelers 26-16, and then the Raiders there 26-10. So couple of home games there. And how was it like for the boys to play at home? Because playing at your home base there's, albeit there at Pukekohe. How was it
Yep.
like to play at Pukekohe there?
Oh yeah,
What
no,
was the
look,
support like? Mm.
massive. Like
Yeah,
it's having the opportunity to play in front of your family and friends is something special for these boys. And at the end of the day, like we people play the game because it's fun, but they also do it to make their families proud. And being in front of our family, like I got to have my team play in front of my family as well, which is a special moment for me. And
yeah.
my dad's probably one of the heartiest Warriors supporters around, and like having my dad there was something special to me. So I can only imagine how special it was for the rest of the playing group.
Yeah, and then that final game, just going on that final game of the season, round 9, you guys needed to get a win in that game to make the finals. How was that like? Because it was the
Yeah.
scoreboard was pretty convincing there, 46-10. But you must have felt, this is a game we've probably got to win, to get into the
Oh
finals.
no, we knew like our because
Yeah,
we played on Sunday. We
yeah,
knew after the Manly Central Coast game, like it was funny
yeah,
because me and the coaching staff were talking during the week, and I was like, you know what, boys, like it probably won't happen because it never does. But the best outcome that we can have is for those two teams to draw, and they did.
Yeah.
And then like we knew the assignment for us on the Sunday, which people think it was good to know that, but at the same time, it put a lot of pressure on us. So I think the boys knew that, and we started the game like that too. It was 10-0 after 10 minutes to that side, the Dragons, I think it was, on that game. And that moment there, that was the same moment as when the boys were 10-0 down in the grand final. Like, we'd been in those situations before. But yeah, to get that win, last game on home soil for us, knowing that we were about to make history to be the first ever Warriors Harold Mats team to make a semi-final was a special moment too, man.
Yeah, and I thought, look, getting to the finals in your first season, I thought that's still a great season nonetheless. And you guys played a very good Parramatta side, but in week one of the finals, and you went down there to Leichhardt Oval in Sydney, and you won 30-20. So, what were your reactions to that game?
Oh yeah, again there was a 10-minute period in that game. I think it was like 26-6 at one stage or something, man, or it was 24-0, I think, in that game. Like, it was a pretty dominant display from the boys, and there's a 10-minute period there that could have cost us, a semi-final or grand final qualified berth. And but credit to the boys, man. They played so well in that game. They just, the whole week they were calm, focused. You just knew that if they could take that mentality to the game on the weekend, that would give ourselves an opportunity or a chance to win. And it was just a special week for us, man. Like, the feelings being there at the field and seeing the boys celebrate the win was something I'd cherish for a lifetime as well, man.
Yeah, and then you took on the Bulldogs the following week at Henson Park there, and you guys won that 12 points to 10. That was a very, very close game, and you guys are through to your first grand final in a debut season. It's a remarkable achievement, to get to that grand final in your first season in the Harold Matthews under-17s team, and you've had some quality teams along the way as well. You got the Parramatta Eels there, the Bulldogs as well. Another team that I think they were champions the previous season from what
they were.
Yeah.
And all we knew we were gonna, to create something special. We had to play a certain way, and all three of those teams in the semi-final were undefeated throughout the whole season of Harold Mats. And we went through the first two weeks in semi-final probably as the underdogs. We weren't expected to win. Well, I don't think we were expected to win all three of those, to be honest, but definitely in those first 2 weeks. And we used that tag to our advantage a little bit. And week one, we wanted to go down and ambush the Parramatta Eels. And, week two, we had a little bit of a different mentality. We knew the Bulldogs would be ready for us, but we wanted to do whatever it took for each other, to get that win and be a part of history, to be the first ever team that comes in, in their inception year and makes a grand final. And that was a special moment, man. I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything like that, but I knew if we made it to the grand final, I knew it'd be hard to stop us. I just felt like the belief in the boys was so high after that grand final qualifier win against the Bulldogs that I knew if we could just jag that win. We've been in some dark places throughout the competition that I just knew that if we were at our best, there wasn't a team in the competition that could beat us on that day. And yeah, obviously we made history, which was great.
Yeah, and that grand final leading into that week, how was the feeling amongst the players and the coaches, and Tony Ora, he would have been there as well, pathways man.
He's been along the journey the whole way, Sponge. So the build up for grand final week was special for us as well. And our message to the boys, there was a couple of things for them, but we didn't want them to just be happy to make a grand final. And that was something that we learnt off the previous NRL Warriors sides. That, I remember watching a documentary with the Warriors boys, and Alan Goodenbill said, all his life or all his playing career at the Warriors, he just thought about how good it would be to make a grand final, and he didn't actually think about what it would be like to win one. So we had we had that discussion with the boys, and we asked them, like, soak the opportunity up. You just never know when these opportunities will ever come again in your lifetime. And I felt like the boys enjoyed the moment, and they were very calm and very focused throughout that week. And credit to my staff, because they did an outstanding job as well. Keeping the boys focused and relaxed throughout that, probably the biggest biggest week of their career to date.
Yeah, and a big moment for those guys, especially playing your first grand final in your first season in the Harold Matthews Cup competition.
Yeah.
So, how was the nerves for any nerves for you during the grand final, like the way it kicked off?
Yeah, there were always pre-game nerves, probably not as bad as what I thought I would be. The nerves started kicking in a little bit when I got to the box. But yeah, look, in saying that as well, the boys gave me the confidence, to be honest. Like, you look around the changing room, pre-game, like I said, they look focused, they look relaxed, and they gave me a lot of confidence. I just felt like, we were ready to make something special out of that day. And yeah, man, it was, again, the biggest highlight of my career to date, and it's definitely something special that me and my family can cherish for a lifetime.
Yeah, and look, the way with that 10, I think it was 10-0, 12-0 there, and then you guys really fought hard, like, defensively. Like, you guys were very strong defensively in this one, yeah, you guys once you got that first try to Jack Thompson there. Can you tell me a little bit about Jack Thompson? Is there a bit about him, because apparently he came up from Aussie, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a Newcastle boy.
Newcastle boy. Yeah.
He came over after round. I think it was round 4. I think for us.
Yep.
He came after that Bunnies clash, but yeah, look, he obviously, his pathway was a little bit blocked over in Newcastle, and he had an opportunity to come over, and that's credit to Andrew McFadden as well. Like, he never stopped, trying to find the best thing for our group, and Jack came over, and he fit right into our landscape, our culture, and Jack came over with the intentions to win a grand final for the club, and yeah, look, he's part of history now, man, and he's given himself an opportunity now to move into the SG ball space and really make a career out of rugby league here in New Zealand. So hopefully get to catch up with Jack at the end of the year when he gets back here to do SG ball preseason.
Yep. So the score was 34-16. First, that siren went, and the boys they looked very happy, celebrated. You look very happy as well yourself. Was it how proud of the moment was it for you to see those boys get that trophy?
Yeah, that was probably the most special moment of the whole campaign. To be honest, man, is being the coach, you always make things as hard as possible, or put them into dark places. But the boys did some tough stuff throughout preseason and the season, and like, I got to give a lot of credit to my staff, but also the playing group. Like, they just had such belief in themselves and the group, and then seeing all their faces and the enjoyment that they got out of what hard work does pay off. Yeah, that was special, man. And I said as well, like, it means so much more to more than just us. Like, the win means such a great thing for our club and our young players coming through a pathway here in New Zealand. And like, some of our boys, there's a couple boys in the team that haven't even known each other before the campaign, and now they're best mates, and you can't separate them, like, that sort of stuff is the special part of rugby league, and that's the stuff that people don't see outside of the performance stuff. So, as a coach, like, yeah, it's special, mate. It really is.
Yeah, and Lonex Tuilomo, he's a very got a very bright future. But what he did for you guys in in that grand final, man of the match as well. What were your thoughts like on how he went? Because he had a good season for you guys.
Yeah, he did. Lennox is
Yeah,
he's definitely a special talent, man. He's got a big career ahead of him if he wants it. He's still got to put in a lot of hard work, but
yeah,
the same story. That what people don't know is Knox and a few other boys from outside of Auckland. They live in the South Island of New Zealand, which is a few hours away by plane, and
yeah,
those boys did the preseason. They come up and stayed at Sponge's house for a few months, and Sponge and his beautiful wife Harriet looked after those boys and um, allowed them to do a full preseason with us. But as soon as school started, they went back down to Christchurch, and um, they only got flown up if they were selected in the squad for captain's run, and sometimes not even then. So, like for them to be able to perform at a high level without being in that team environment, it just goes to show, the good environment that my staff were able to put these boys in, and they just fit straight it back in whenever they come back in around the boys. So, Knox has got a big future, man. Proud to say that I've coached him in his career and along his journey, and I wish him all the best for whatever future endeavours come his way.
yep. So the season's now wrapped up, and just overall, what your take like? What did you take out of the season for you as as a coach and for the squad? Like, well, what are your overall takes out of this year?
Um, Keep it simple.
Yep,
Simplify the game as much as you can, and just try and be the best at all the simple stuff that requires you to play the game of rugby league. I felt like I said I overcomplicated a few things earlier on in the season, and but man, like enjoy the moment because one thing I can tell you right now is it seems so long ago now that we started preseason. It went so fast.
yeah,
And I felt like sometimes I wasn't enough in the moment and enjoying it enough. So I think that's one takeout. If I get an opportunity to do it all again, or even be in another team and help pick up cones within the organisation, like
yep.
I'm going to learn to live in the moment and enjoy the moment a little bit more because times like these are very special and they don't come around too often.
Yeah, well said there. And what's the plan now? For next season, looking into next season for the side. Are they starting to build starting to build for next year? Like starting to
Yeah,
look
they
into
are.
those and
Yeah, they are. So the
yep,
boys have a couple of weeks off. Then obviously we'll get them in and put them on their own individual programs over the next few months and get them physically and fitter and stronger and all that sort of stuff come SG Ball preseason on 1st of November. But they got heaps of footy stuff, whether it's school rugby, school league,
yeah,
or club footy and stuff like that they're doing in the meantime as well. So our job will just be to get around those boys and support them and make sure we can get them bigger and faster and stronger for their next Warriors season.
yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, well, it's great. It's great having you on to chat about the season, and I'd like to congratulate you and the team, the whole team, the coaching staff there at the club, and it was a great season for you boys, and we're Warriors fans. We're very proud of seeing our pathway system. You finally get that opportunity coming through, and it's a long journey, but it's great to have the Harold Matthews team. A bit of success there as well, and may it long continue. So all the best for the future as well.
Nah, awesome. Just want to say, obviously, a big thank you to you for your support and, also everyone else that's reached out with the kind messages for the boys as well. And, we had so much support when we went over to Australia. We had a lot of, Kiwi expats and Warrior supporters from over there come and watch our games. And we probably had the best crowd or the loudest crowd at the grand final for us. So it was special.
Yeah,
And I just want to say thank you to all our fans and supporters out there because, yeah, you guys have been special throughout our campaign, so it's been awesome.
no worries. Awesome. Thanks for coming on. I really do appreciate you giving your time up as you are. I know you're a really busy man and,
No worries.
with what's happening at the moment with the club. And, all the best. Like I said there, all the best for what's coming up next.
Yep.
And, hope to, see some more action. Looking forward to seeing more action of the Harold Maths team next season. So, thanks for
Awesome.
coming on again.
Thanks for
Appreciate it.
having me, mate. I appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks.
See you,
Thanks
mate.
everyone for watching. Make sure you do like this video back if you're watching it back, and don't forget to make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel as well. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.